we're going to go back out to Richland Parish, where police have been searching for a murder suspect.
Operators of the prisons are not required to take the lowest bid for services. As soon as officers get out of their vehicles, the video and audio are already on. You will be recorded. We're told it's either from a church or a barn. Let's see. I think it's from a barn.
We're going to get right to the latest numbers. We're keeping a very close eye on the governor's race tonight. Big question is who will succeed Bobby Jindal in the governor's mansion. We have an update now, unfortunately, on the breaking news story that we told you about at the top of the newscast. That Franklin Parish football player, according to Sheriff Kevin Cobb, has passed away.
It was his first high school football game, but it would also be the last game for freshman Tyrell Cameron.
I did see him go down. He got hit and just froze. It was just terrible. So many young men, just crying and just losing their.
And there was a collision with another player from Sterlington, and he went to the ground, and that's all that we know, that they were not able to resuscitate him.
It was the fourth quarter. There were about 9 minutes left on the clock. It happened here around the 35-yard line when Franklin Parish was returning a punt from Sterlington. The Franklin Parish head football coach says he's never seen anything like it.
It's very rare. I can honestly say that I'd expected to go my whole career without seeing a catastrophic injury.
Yeah, I carry him with me at all times. Ain't no plays off. He went hard every play.
A sense of bewilderment in the stands.
The reaction of us was, get up, man. You got to go out. We gotta be on defense for us.
A short time later, Tyrell pronounced dead at the hospital. In nearby Wisner, Tyrell's family devastated. His mother was out of state attending a funeral for a first cousin when she got the news. Other family members still in shock.
I thought it was someone else until a friend of mine came up and told me who it was.
Tyrell's teammates remember him for his contagious personality.
A smile, man. He kept a smile on his face at all times.
We need more Tyrell Camerons in this world, and now we minus him.
Where do we go from here? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. We can either rebound and come back strong, or we can just sit and mourn and just live in the past. We got to play for Tyrell.
Heather Parker, KTVE 10 News.
Jared, there are only about 5 weeks left in this legislative session. That's how long lawmakers have to close a $1.6 billion budget gap. All eyes are on health care and higher education as lawmakers struggle with a more than $1 billion shortfall. Many stress you can't balance it on the back of higher education. Delta Community College Chancellor Barbara Hansen concerned about possible cuts.
I know they believe in higher education and they understand the importance of it for the state.
ULM has endured 6 years of cuts, resulting in higher tuition for students.
The university has had to restructure itself. We've had to consolidate colleges. We've had a number of layoffs and retirements that have been put in effect just to maintain the quality that we have.
Other Northeast Louisiana leaders, like Tallulah Mayor Paxton Branch, spending much time, weeks at the Capitol, concerned specifically with economic development. Mayor Branch needs money for a new water plant.
The pipe's already bad. You can put it in overflow and you end up busting a pipe or tearing up a motor or anything, and the business don't want that.
ULM President Dr. Nick Bruno concerned about the educated workforce that would be required for the region to recruit new businesses. He has 2 words for Governor Bobby Jindal on the budget: fix it.
We're at a tipping point now. There's not a lot left without getting into critical programs that'll help the region as it relates to its current opportunities as far as a highly skilled, highly paid workforce.
In a packed room near the Capitol, Governor Jindal simply said he's confident the budget can be balanced without raising taxes.
What I've presented to the legislature, what I've suggested is we go after over $500 million in corporate welfare. I'm talking about instances where companies are getting money back from the state above and beyond the taxes they pay to the state. I think it would be wrong to leave that spending untouched.
Now, Northeast Louisiana lawmakers all pretty much agree that they will not stop fighting for higher education and health care. But as Representative Bubba Cheney of Rayville put it, by the time this is all said and done, everybody's probably going to feel a little pain.
You can see he's defecated on himself. He's urinated on himself. And there are no vets around here. So there's nothing I can do until I get somebody to come out here and end this for him.
This horse's last moments caught on video by Casey Latimer, president of the Delta Humane Society. The horse tied to a post.
I pulled the post out from the ground because he was so tangled up. It was over there. He couldn't reach hay, he couldn't reach water.
Latimer says about 10 days earlier, she warned the horse's caretaker, Donnie West, to feed and water them. She says they appeared to have no access. West now arrested for cruelty to animals.
Try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I even offered to bring the man hay, and he didn't do it, so I felt like I let the horse down, that he didn't need to die.
Back behind that makeshift corral is where the horse was found down and had to be put to sleep. Now, this is only about 3 blocks away from the main drag in Rayville, which is Highway 80.
But the horses reside at the end of a dead-end street. Police Chief Willie Robinson says he first heard about the situation from Latimer.
We never got a call on it until she called us.
One neighbor says he was inside when the horse was euthanized.
I don't fool them people's business because I don't want to get involved.
Meanwhile, Latimer says her rescue is getting more and more reports of animal abuse.
But we can't do it all. We handle dogs. We handle everything, basically. Since there is no animal control, we respond.
We don't have the shelter anymore. It's tough because we have nowhere to put them.
Rayville hasn't had an animal shelter in about 10 years, and there is no animal control in Richland Parish due to lack of funding. Law enforcement often refers animal calls to the Humane Society, but volunteers are few.
Going to get right to the Louisiana Attorney General's race. A whole lot of mudslinging in this race, with 36% of the precincts reporting. You've got 2 Republicans going head-to-head in this one, and the Republican Party of the state supporting not the incumbent, but the challenger. That will be Jeff Landry, who is also ahead tonight with 56% of the vote. We were listening to Michelle earlier, and she was saying there was kind of a marked change in the temperature of the room, and I think even just looking at those 2 shots there. You've got Taylor over at John Bel Edwards' campaign. You've got Michelle over at the Vitter camp, and you can feel the mood through the TV screen. We are just hearing now that the Associated Press is also calling the Lieutenant Governor's race for Billy Nungesser, who is the former Plaquemines Parish president. You can see him there in the lead with 58% of the vote, running against Baton Rouge Mayor Kip Holden, and been a clean runoff. Both of these guys said, hey, you know, we're going to run on our records. It's a very drastic difference from the primary race, where there was a whole lot of mudslinging in that Lieutenant Governor's race. 9:24. We've been up here 24 minutes, and already we have called all of the major statewide races. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Heather Parker. Jared's off tonight. Tonight was the final meeting between the 2 candidates vying to be Louisiana's next governor. That debate airing tonight right here on KTVE NBC 10 News. And to say the exchanges were heated might even be putting it lightly. More tonight from KTVE NBC 10's Michelle Martin. Michelle, thanks. In other news tonight, authorities need your help to find a person of interest in a murder case. Robert Bass Jr. is wanted after a deadly shooting in Monroe on Thursday night. Incident happened on Fiole Avenue near ULM. Police believe the shooting was part of a drug deal gone wrong. Governor Bobby Jindal ordering state agencies and officials to utilize all lawful means to prevent the resettlement of Syrian refugees in Louisiana. Today's executive order follows Jindal's weekend announcement that he was requesting from the White House information on how many Syrian refugees have been resettled in Louisiana. Today, state officials addressed Jindal's order at a news conference.
I will tell you, within 15 minutes of the incident in Paris, I was on the phone with the FBI office in New Orleans, talking about all the information that was coming forward. We stayed in contact almost hourly since then.
State Department press office says 14 refugees from Syria have been resettled in Louisiana this year. In Mississippi, Governor Phil Bryant had this to say on the issue of American cities taking in Syrian refugees.
We don't know who these individuals are. Any idea that you can do a background check of someone that's been living in Syria is just absolutely ridiculous. These are dangerous times. We are at war, whether people want to admit it or not, and we want to keep Mississippi out of that war here on the home front.
A growing number of U.S. governors want to close the door to Syrian refugees after the revelation that a Syrian passport was found near the body of one of the attackers. About 2,000 Syrian refugees have entered the U.S. in the last 4 years. Here's NBC's Hallie Jackson. At the busiest airport in the world, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, the security has been heightened. The mayor says the environment has changed, and he is doing his part to harden the airport.
We are encouraging people to arrive at the airport a bit earlier for travel, because our enhanced security measures may create some additional delay. But it really is all for the most important reason of keeping everyone safe.
And in Paris, on the third National Day of Mourning, the Eiffel Tower was lit up in the French national colors. Cities across the world showed their solidarity with the French with similar tributes over the weekend. The square has become the focal point for mourners to unite in the wake of Friday's attacks. A moment of silence was held this afternoon.